Dre's Geek Philosophy page this time.
There you go.
Hey, Facebook, we're going to do our quick, 1-minute preview. This is just for you guys. I mean, we are recording for everything else, but hey, welcome to the show. How you guys doing? Everything going good? Oh, yeah. How you doing? You doing good? You doing good? Say hi to you. Hey, say hi to your mother for me. This is my Mark Wahlberg. My Mark. I'm Mark Wahlberg. I'm not as good as Daniel Van Kirk. Yeah, we're talking pro wrestling, people. So if you're not interested in pro wrestling, I apologize. If you're slightly interested in pro wrestling, maybe you might learn some stuff from us. Because we got myself, we got Judgmental Nerd Pete, and our good friend Kiet here tonight. So we're about to hit the actual audio show open right now in about 30 seconds. Yo, Art says yo. Yo. Art, Iceberg says hi. So I'm gonna bring us in. We're gonna do the audio show open. Someday, I will figure out how to put this on iTunes.
There you go. What is it?
If anyone knows a good graphic designer, I think that's actually my only stumbling block right now is I need a graphic. I got like $5-10. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Live from the secret podcast studios, somewhere in the San Fernando Valley, in Los Angeles, somewhere. We're hidden here. This is Dre's Geek Philosophy, the March 20th edition. Welcome everyone on Facebook Live. Welcome anyone who, I forgot to set up Twitch. I forgot to set up Twitch. I got so caught up. I was so happy I wrote an entire format. I had everything set up and ready. I was like, I got this on lock this time. Judgmental Nerd Pete Malini was like impressed that I actually had everything organized. And as I realized, as I go to say hi to, our Twitch audience that is not there. Let me just update the date on this. And start broadcasting. Hey, this wouldn't be Dre's Geek Philosophy if there wasn't some hiccups. If there wasn't, a couple weeks ago, I was broadcasting from the wrong page. Last week went kind of without a weird hitch. I mean,
but you had the camera thing after the fact.
Yeah, I had the camera problem. Yeah, all sorts of camera problems. We're having trouble. So we're here. Tonight's show, we're going to be talking a lot. We're going to be talking a lot of pro wrestling. Warning or. Welcome. We have Judgmental Nerd Pete Malini here with and then we have my guest tonight, my buddy, one of my fellow wrestling fan, a fellow Destiny Sword Bear. He's saying what's up on the Twitch to anyone who's watching. See, we usually have some sort of malfunction with Twitch where we don't know if anyone's watching or we don't see anyone's comments.
Or both.
Yeah. No, there was a week where it worked.
Oh, yeah.
Where we saw comments and we saw it.
That was 2 weeks ago?
So, we got my buddy, Iceberg. We call him Iceberg in our Destiny clan, but he is Kiet Pham. Yeah. Welcome, sir. He is one of the people who helps run, one of the best Nintendo community groups that I have ever seen, Streetpass Orange County. Right. You can find them on Facebook at, Streetpass OC. I suggest checking them out, because there's going to be some big things. We're gonna be talking about that later on in the show.
Because I was not allowed to talk about it for 2 months.
Yeah. Couldn't talk about it. But now things are happening. The Nintendo Switch came out, so now the Nintendo community groups, I feel like everything's going to be coming back strong pretty soon. So,
despite some current drama.
Drama is drama.
Yeah.
And whenever you get a bunch of nerds together, you eventually will find drama.
This is true.
So,
this is true.
I want to lead off today because I haven't watched it yet because I'm still way behind. I still have to watch Daredevil. Right? I still have to watch Daredevil Season 2. I still have to watch Luke Cage. But Iron Fist came out this past week. Have either of you watched any of Iron Fist?
I've
5 episodes in.
First 5.
Yeah.
So you guys watched the first 5. Oh, Matt Hamblin on Facebook Live asked if we're playing Destiny. We play Destiny on PlayStation 4. Quattro, on the Foe.
Yes.
On the Foe. We play on the Foe.
And we're coming back next week.
And we're going to be playing next week because the Vault of Glass and the Crota's Array and all the fun stuff's coming back next week. It's going to be exciting. Yes. We're going to get all of our Sword Bear friends or former Sword Bears. We're going to get all of our clan back together. We're going to go. I mean, we're supposed to play Crota's End first, but no, we're going to play Vault of Glass first. Fuck that shit. We fucking love it.
Go and do it again.
Oh hell yeah, we're going to play.
They're reopening it with new stuff.
Yeah, you'll be able to get all the weapons at the highest power. Yeah, so I can go get my favorite gun, the Vision of Confluence.
Best damn gun in the game.
I know it was one of
The
your
Return of the Fatebringer.
The Return of the Fatebringer. A lot of good weapons are coming back.
The Icebreaker?
Oh, the
Icebreaker,
the Rice Breaker has been back. It's already been back.
It's already been back.
See, I stopped playing because I just couldn't bury myself.
See, that's how bad Iron Fist is. We totally took a tangent and walked away from it.
Right.
That's how not
that
good.
Bad. Thank God I haven't watched
My
it.
opinion is,
Yeah,
See,
that's what I've been hearing. No, go ahead. No, Pete, please.
I think what happened with Iron Fist is that we've gotten so used to everything, all the Netflix shows. Like, it's good, it's not great. And because of that, people are crapping on it.
So, because it's not great, therefore it's not great. It's a pass or fail situation that you're talking about then.
Because it's a little slow. I mean, it takes about 2 or 3 episodes to get going, but it's all right. I mean, like I don't see what
I think the main problem is like the likability factor.
Yeah, that's
You just can't relate with Danny at all.
yeah, that's what I've heard.
well,
I think that's what separated shows like Luke Cage and Daredevil. The characters are genuinely likable. Like you,
Yeah.
I liked Luke Cage immediately, and it made up for a lot of the down
Shortcomings.
parts, the
Right.
shortcomings of the show.
Yeah, because I've been hearing some like off and on things about those shows have their flaws, but what they got right was much better than what they got wrong.
yeah.
But it seems like with Iron Fist, everything I'm seeing so far over the weekend is that it got a lot of more things wrong than right.
I mean,
And I think a lot of it starts with the main character, apparently.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see it. I mean, I looked at a lot of these negative reviews early on,
Right.
And some of the stuff they were complaining about, I was like, that doesn't make sense. You know, like.
Would you say it's a very heavily, social justice warrior, whatever that kind of?
I mean, to a point, right? Like,
little bit.
A little bit, but
Because with, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones, you have flawed characters. Danny Rand does not come off as being flawed immediately.
really, because I mean, like they throw him in an insane asylum, like in like the second episode.
Oh wow, that's
yeah.
pretty
So
intense.
it's, I mean,
It's just not relatable as compared to, you got your other characters growing up,
Yeah, because I've never been an Iron. Unlike a lot of the other Marvel characters, I've never really been a quote unquote Iron Fist fan. I mean, like I've liked some of the recent stuff that they've done, like when he was in the Avengers book where Brian Michael Bendis was writing. I liked his character there, but I felt like it was more of the fact that Bendis was writing him well, rather than me liking Iron Fist.
Yeah.
As, like other characters, like regardless of the writer, I will kind of like the character, like an Iron Man or a Spider Man, where Iron Fist is kind of just like
yeah.
he's just there.
It's like with Iron Fist, it's like he's not like an established character where his personality to the T. If you go to a random person and you ask, okay, describe Iron Fist, Kung Fu guy.
Kung Fu guy.
I mean, but you can make that argument like before the first Iron Man movie, like that was the same thing.
Yeah, that was the same thing. A lot of people I knew who Iron Man was. I liked Iron Man when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But most people would be like, "What the hell is the Iron Man?" But guys, I said bum. Thank you. And then the other thing, I've seen a lot of my friends have a lot of my Asian friends have like there's this huge outrage that this should have been an opportunity for Marvel to recast or reimagine the origin of Iron Fist as an Asian character as opposed to the established white character. What do you guys think about? I mean, Iceberg, you're Asian.
Let's ask an authentication.
Let's go to Asian correspondent Kiet Pham.
Because we have, media bias to, casting male Asians on anything.
Yeah, I know that's I know John Cho has struggles, getting anything beyond the Asian best friend.
Because John Cho is the typical Asian casting.
The Korean guy playing a Japanese guy, playing a Chinese guy, playing these Koreans are very flexible. They can play any flavor of Asian apparently.
Right, especially when he's pulling 40 and he's still playing teenage characters.
I've heard that. I mean, I was about to say black don't crack, but apparently Asian does not crack either. My ex-girlfriend's parents, they're ageless.
Yeah.
I saw them a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Huh, you haven't aged. It's been 10 years since the last time I saw you. You still look exactly like you did in 2005." What the hell?
Which means that they probably also looked exactly how they did when they were in the 1960s.
And right?
But yeah, statistically speaking, the most let's see, underviewed demographic in all of media is Asian males.
It is Asian males. There's lots of something else I saw was like, oh, they did the stereotypical trope of like, oh, the Asian female falls for the, oh, white man, thank you for saving me.
Because
and
they
then
don't know anything about the current Mulan story.
Right, exactly. And to quote my good friend Jai Polidor, it's like, oh, you save a woman's life, and then you got to get that ass. That's for you, Jai. That's credit to you, my friend. But yeah, cause that was me, and actually to bring him in, me and Jai saw that Bruce Lee movie that hasn't come out yet. Something of the dragon? There's a new Bruce Lee movie coming out.
Yeah. And the story about the white guy.
The white guy who was
Bruce Lee.
The story of the white guy who is not Steve McQueen, who somehow created the fight between Bruce Lee and then the Shaolin master, the Shaolin monk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I should be saying this out on the internet because we saw it last year of a sneak preview.
The story of David Carradine?
Yeah. And it's funny because like when me and Jai saw it, we kind of like glossed over the whole white guy being the thing, and then like we were like, holy shit, these fight sequences are fucking amazing. Like, I honestly, it went over. I'm gonna be honest, it went over my head because I don't know. I feel like I'm still like a little bit old school. Like I feel like I'm a lot like my parents, who are like, oh, there was a racist thing going on. I'm like, nah, that's kind of. I didn't know that was racist. I am. Sometimes I'm culturally naive. No. I don't see those things. Where like our good friend Jonah, he'll watch a movie and see what's socially wrong with it, and where I will watch the same movie, I'm like, but I saw the bang bang and the explosions and the funsies. I had the funds. Like I was sitting on the ride with my arms like going wee. And my friend, like he sees the movie through a different prism, and he's like, oh my god, this is wrong. The treatment of women, the treatment of minorities, and I'm like, am I that ignorant? I think I am. I'm culturally ignorant.
It's not that. It's that we've been so desensitized to it. All like if
honestly,
fed visually is one thing over and over and over again, you're not going to notice the problems. You have to actually like train yourself to notice these things.
I guess that's true, especially since I've been desensitized since I was like 5 years old. When my parents took me to watch Cobra.
Yeah. You hear always the interesting stories about like the casting of Tilda Swinton as the ancient one because guess what? We don't want to offend the Koreans, the Japanese, and the Chinese, so let's cast them as white.
Let's find a white woman.
Yeah, because all of these Asian minorities, who cares about representation? They're going to get offended because we're going to choose one.
So it's an Occam's razor kind of solution.
Which is the one that fills the role the best,
right?
A Korean?
None of them, because no one will get offended. Yeah, let's offend them all. Make it black.
I am the ancient one, motherfucker.
Apparently, historically, we all originated from Africa.
That's true.
Dude, they should have got Michael Jai White. It would have been the ancient Black Dynamite. Yes. Black Dynamite reference. But so I haven't watched it. I do plan on watching it eventually, maybe like 3 months from now when I finally catch up on everything. I'm sure the defenders will be out before I catch up on Iron Fist.
But then when it comes down to it, though, but don't you think it's a little more offensive if like you're one Asian superhero, his power is kung fu?
Kung fu?
Like
a little bit?
Technically he's white to begin with.
No, I mean,
yeah.
See, my weird comic book accuracy argument is like if you make Iron Fist Asian, then he's basically just Shang-Chi, master of kung fu.
Yeah, exactly.
there's already another Asian character who's very similar. Where like my weird comic, like that's not accurate. If you're gonna have an Asian kung fu artist, why didn't they just make a Shang-Chi show?
But see,
you could be like the Legions of Superheroes and go Kung Fu Boy.
Oh, Karate Kid? Karate Kid?
Karate Kid. Oh, God, I totally forgot about that.
But I'm saying, like, say they would have done a Shang-Chi show, people would be complaining about something totally different, though.
I'm sure people would find... We do live in an outrage culture where people will find things to complain about. Half of this show is me complaining about things. So I really cannot cast any stones at that glass house.
I think all arguments are moot as long as the world champion yodeler is Asian.
Yes.
Chicken attack! I apologize. You should Google chicken attack, and then I can apologize to you later, or you can thank me if you enjoy it.
Freaking amazing.
Speaking of struggling with technology, so last week... I had set up a third camera because we already have the cell phone recording for Facebook Live. We have the other camera back there recording for Twitch. And so I was trying to set up another camera so we can eventually put this on YouTube as well. Because if I try to save the video that I do on my phone, it takes an hour to save it. So I'm like, I'll set up another camera. I'll just simply dust off my camcorder from 2008. I'll use that. What could possibly go wrong? Dre fights with iMovie and computers for an hour and a half last night. I'm a Luddite. A person who's worked in consumer electronics for so long, I'm an idiot with technology. It's sad, but true. I hate to admit it, but I am about the truth, and it's funny, and comedy comes first. Comedy always comes first.
Always.
I will throw myself under the bus. So if there's anyone who's an expert with, what was it? MPEG, I don't know. I need tech support. I'm 37 years old and I don't know how to do things. And
Tracy cannot pay you.
I can pay you in food. I can make delicious Mexican food. But this is true. There was a Cinco de Mayo at Casa de Chorizo where I freaking served chicken tacos to everybody. And you guys have had my cooking as well. All right, so
actually, my place is now known as Casa del Soy Rizo.
Soy Rizo. It's chorizo with a sense of self, to quote excessively long executive producer Sam Zia.
Soy chorizo.
Soy chorizo. So now that we've warmed up here, I've gotten the kinks out here. Let's jump into the main topic. We're going to talk about one of my loves. I am not ashamed to admit it, even though people tell me I should be ashamed of it. I love professional wrestling. And not just WWE, but I love all forms. It is entertainment. It constantly makes me mad when people tell me that it's fake.
Yeah.
Or it's stupid, or it's fake. The fake
It's
thing,
rigged.
it's rigged. Like, you know what else is rigged? Everything else you watch! And I'm not talking about sports.
Election.
We will not degenerate into political talk here. But I'm talking, like, everything's predetermined. Do people get mad when the Avengers beat Loki? That's predetermined.
As the episode of
in the
Friends
script.
was predetermined.
And that's the thing that drives me nuts. All these other forms of media are predetermined, but yet we have, I know it presented itself as a sport, and it really, or to use a terrible phrase, wrestling came out of the quote-unquote closet in the 90s where everyone realized, oh, wait. Or they kind of accepted the fact that everybody knows that it's predetermined. Fake is an unfair word.
No, absolutely.
Right,
It's
because
not
getting
fake.
your face questioned by a knee,
Yeah.
totally fake.
John Cena took a knee to the face, and he looked like a chipmunk for 2 weeks.
Yep.
You know, guys can, like, they blow out their ACLs, they hurt themselves immeasurably. There's guys who, like, people have lost their lives in the ring. People have broken their necks.
Well, I think the problem is that they initially, like, especially early on, 50s, 60s, 70s, sold themselves as being as real as boxing.
Oh yeah, no, the good guys and the bad guys were in separate locker rooms. Like, the people would get fired if they were seen outside fraternizing. Like, if two people who were fighting in the ring, if they were at the same bar having a beer together, both of the guys would be fired. They'd be looking for a job somewhere else in the country.
Nobody ever broke kayfabe.
Broke kayfabe. For those who don't understand, that's kind of like the language, that was like kind of the secret language where a lot of these people would talk to each other like in this weird kind of like carny talk or pig Latin kind of like that, where they communicate about the matches. But back to my original point, it's fun. Kiet, I keep wanting to call you Iceberg because of our guest stack. You want to go Iceberg because that's his.
But I have to turn the racial talk a little bit.
It's okay. No, it's hey. We say exactly what we think here on this show, except for political stuff. I try to avoid that. And Pete, have you ever been a professional wrestling fan? This is an inquisition.
Inquisition. You know, as a younger, I was I want to say.
Would you say in the late 90s?
Yeah, and maybe the early 90s. Like,
Oh, really?
Because a lot of my friends were really into it. And
Oh, really?
I would watch it.
The Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, the Big Boss Man.
So basically, like that Monday after an event, someone have a VHS of it, and we sit around and watch it.
Nice.
I mean, but I didn't follow it like on a regular. Like we would watch the big events and stuff like that.
Whenever the random Saturday when Saturday Night's main event took the spot of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I remember I always looked forward to that, and I tried to like sneak,
Try to stay up.
try to stay up, hide from my parents and try to like turn on the TV. I'm like, all right, because what the cool thing they did do though back in those days, they put the best matches first because they knew people weren't going to make it till 1 in the morning.
And all the skits at the end.
All the bad stuff was at the end, but
i.e. Hogan's matches.
yeah, like like when I was a kid, it was I remember watching it every Saturday. It was our local Fox affiliate, Channel 11. It was at noon every Saturday and every Sunday. That's WWF Superstars was one show, and then the other show had like All American Wrestling was.
Yeah.
Or there was another. I think that might have been on cable as well. So like if you had cable, you had access to like 3 or 4 hours of like and then I remember when the first time I discovered WCW, I'm like, what is this? Why is it so southern? Who is this Ric Flair? This Sting? He looks like a surfer. I think he's trying to be like Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior.
Hey, that's my all-time favorite wrestler.
Who, Sting? Sting's awesome. No, that's what I'm saying. As a young, a 6th grader, flipping channels, I happened to like flip channels onto TBS at the correct time to catch, WCW Saturday night, and I'm like, what? And another weird thing, I'm like, why is this channel everything at 6:05? Yeah. Why is everything 5 after? Yeah. That's weird. Right. But yeah, discovering this, and then I remember
the cheesy opening of
those metal doors. It was so cheesy and fun, but it's entertaining. Yeah. They're just. I always find people say that the equipment. It's a male soap opera because like all these crazy storylines. And as a kid, I totally thought it was real. The first VHS tape I rented was WrestleMania 5. The Mega Powers Explode. That's when I like started like kind of like. Oh, this is a thing that's happening. Yeah. I remember I rented that. Like it was probably like 2-3 months old, but I was like, I had not seen it. Yeah. There was no internet. I did not know the spoilers. I just knew, Mega Powers Explode. And after that, I was like, every Saturday, I'd go to the magazine rack and go buy the WWF magazine. Nice. It was kind of fun. So, Kiet, when did you start watching? Enough about me blathering.
Roughly the same time. I remember the first VHS tape that I watched was WrestleMania 4.
Oh, wow. Ooh, the tournament.
The tournament.
That was a good one. That was like 2 VHS tapes.
Right? So, woke up with that, just instantly got hooked. Most of my friends weren't into it. It was just solitary me.
Yeah.
So I would just scrounge up, anything I could find. I would find like old VHS tapes at the Asian video store where they have it packed right there. It's like, okay, right. This is going to last me a while.
Yeah, I remember like buying like a Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I remember when I found that, and that's where I learned about all the other, like I only knew was WWF as a kid, and then I bought that Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I learned about all the other stuff. Like after, oh wow, this is where that WCW was from. I'm like, and I'm like, what is this? NWA. I'm like, and it's not the Rapid Group. This is the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. The thing is just remembering the debut of The Undertaker, and he's being managed by Brother Love.
Brother Love. That was weird. I remember that was weird. Like Brother Love, and then like they correctly like they found Paul Bearer.
Managing Kane, The Undertaker.
Yeah, because he was called Kane the Undertaker at first. You're right.
The funniest part was when you see the Undertaker come out, he's all spooky and scary, and then you just see Brother Love. I love you.
I love you. Fucking Bruce Pritchard, executive producer Sam Zia. Yes. So have you been a lifelong wrestling fan, or off and on, or what was your first wrestling experience? I know you enjoy La Lucha.
Jeez.
Do you? I know mine was the VHS tape of WrestleMania 5.
Yeah.
Pete shared tapes with his buddies. Kiet, it was WrestleMania 4.
My first memory was Saturday Night Main Event. And it was the episode where Tyson was officiating a match. I can't remember
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it was Tyson's first association with the WWE.
I had heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one was one. I remember. I think that same card, Demolition, went up against somebody, and I can't remember who it was.
Was it the Brainbusters?
Yeah, maybe, possibly. But I grew up on it early. I remember the old WWF.
You and I are the same age, so it's probably around this.
I remember the old cartoon and like Hillbilly Jim.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Guys, Junkyard Dog.
Oh, the wrestling.
No one sounded anything like they.
None of them sound like the wrestlers.
Except for Sergeant Slaughter for some odd reason.
The only one that actually, and Andre the Giant, he did the voiceover for his cartoon character.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember there was one episode where he was looking for Hillbilly Jim, and you just hear him saying, Yeah, Billy, 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 Billy. Yeah, Billy, Billy, Billy,
See, Andre was always underrated as a comedian. He was hilarious.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. I mean, that's how like anybody want a peanut?
Yeah.
I grew up on this stuff, and I went off and on. I stopped for a little bit, then I came back just before the Attitude Era took over. Watched a little bit of the Attitude Era, and then gave up around 2000. I haven't really
I feel like 90% of people kind of quit around 2001.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with it at all. I just go back and watch old videos of the old stuff. I got my stepdaughter hooked on old school wrestling.
Nice.
She will quote Randy Macho Man Savage.
Ooh, yeah, cup of coffee, cup of coffee. Oh, got Ricky Steamboat here for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and for me, the best thing for me is the WWE Network, because I can go back and watch all of the old stuff that I love and more or less ignore the stuff that I can't stand now.
Yeah, it's a lot. I feel that's the biggest thing about that WWE Network. It's totally worth it for me just to like travel through time, jump into the DeLorean, and go back to a simpler time when the Dudley Boys used to put every woman through a table. Oh yeah, the really old stuff, right? I was like, oh my god, how did I put up with
Mean Gene?
Mean Gene
Also,
Okerlund?
the action in the ring, any match that involved Hulk Hogan was boring as shit.
Yeah.
It was the stiffest
Punch,
match ever.
punch, kick, punch,
Leg
kick,
drop.
clothesline, and then leg drop,
Shake hand.
big boot, and then
Yeah.
no, he has to do the Hulk up.
Or
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah, or he gets somebody grabbing his trapezius muscle or tries to put him in a sleeper hold, and he almost gets counted out. They lift his arm once, lift his arm twice, and then on the third one, he all of a sudden goes into freak out mode. And he starts making fishy face at everybody.
That's ring psychology, my friend. That's like because he's taking in the energy from the fans. I mean, that's the stuff that people ate that shit up back in the 80s, and the 70s and the 80s.
You know what? I remember my real first interaction with WWF. It was WrestleMania 2.
WrestleMania 2.
Because
Ooh.
they showed it on Showtime. So
Right.
they had it play a couple times. So like
Really?
I remember the part what was it? Hulk Hogan fighting King Kong Bundy.
In the steel cage,
In
and
the
the,
steel cage.
at the LA freaking sports arena.
And he bladed King Kong Bundy bladed himself on that one. And it was the first time I noticed anything like that, because the blade was in the tape job on his wrist, and you could see the part of
really?
the tape where he lifted it.
I guess in
up.
my crappy VHS, I didn't notice that one when I
Yeah.
eventually rented WrestleMania 2.
Also, it was, I remember it was one of my favorites, even though it's considered one of the worst ever. It was one of my favorites because it had the Battle Royal with all the NFL players.
Yeah,
yes.
that was hilarious. Yeah, freaking William Refrigerator Perry. Like he was the most famous one out of everybody.
Wasn't Mongo in it?
I think.
It was.
Yeah,
I think Mongo McMichaels.
Yeah.
His first taste of wrestling.
He had a lot of things about wrestling before he joined the WCW back in the 90s. Oh God.
I gotta say though, nowadays my favorite thing to do is listen to Jim Cornette go off on anything.
Did you hear the story? He's inducting the Rock and Roll Express.
He's going to be on the WWE Network that Friday. I believe it's Friday night, the night before
And his
WrestleMania.
short comment to WWE.com was, hell froze over.
Yeah.
better get some coats in Florida because hell's frozen over.
I want to. What was it? The Cult of Cornette are all of his followers. I am all about Jim Cornette. The guy is brilliant.
There is an air of there is intelligence, but there's also there's a fine line between intelligence and insanity, and he dances all around it.
And no, that's the best part is that when he goes, just like whenever I get you worked up on something.
Yeah,
that's
he goes off. He goes. For those who don't know, this gentleman Jim Cornette, he was in charge. Like he was a manager, but behind the scenes, he was a person who was in charge of the people who were in charge of the storylines. Was a booker. He would literally book the show. He would decide who would go over. That's who would win over on someone else, and they kind of decide the storylines. Back in the old days, they used to just do it with a piece of paper and a pencil.
It's like,
And
you win. Okay, go.
It's like, all you gotta do is whoever's pushing the pencil. That's good old JR say whoever's pushing the pencil. That's the one in charge. Someone just remember, there's always the most powerful thing in wrestling is an eraser. You can just get erased off that sheet, and all of a sudden you don't have a career anymore. But I actually, you guys keep mentioning. I want to talk about the Attitude Era because I feel like that's because, as Iceberger mentioned earlier, finding other wrestling fans was very difficult. I mean, Pete, you were fortunate; you had several
Yeah.
friends. Like I remember middle school, like meeting people who actually other people who liked wrestling. I was like, oh, you like wrestling too? Oh my God, let's hang out. We need to hang out and talk about what happened in the Royal Rumble. I can't believe the Ultimate Warrior lost to Sergeant Slaughter. I remember, I vividly have memories of that in 6th grade, like discussing these things with other like middle school people.
I didn't have anyone to discuss it with.
I know, right? It wasn't until the internet, but we. In 1995, 96, we all got more people to discuss it with because all of a sudden, like somehow, some way, either through Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock, it somehow became cool to like wrestling. It was nuts. Like a lot of people who had shunned me before for wrestling, they knew I was the wrestling. All of a sudden, like, oh, we're all talking about wrestling. People who I never thought would be wanting to watch wrestling or getting people together. Like, hey, everyone wanted to come over because I had the black box through cable charter communications, so I got every WWF and every WCW pay-per-view. All of a sudden, people wanted to come over to my house and watch wrestling. I was like, really? You guys want? Because it was just me. Usually it was just me watching it, but all of a sudden, got people coming over, we're ordering pizza. It was insane during the Attitude Era.
I was lucky because my family, all of my cousins, and they're all around my age and stuff, we all grew up watching this stuff. So, like, if we went over to each other's house over the summer or something, we would watch wrestling and then go on the bed and start body slamming. That was the best part. If you're by yourself watching, then you just get all of that energy from it, and you don't get to burn it anywhere. If you have other people around watching it with you, you're DDTing that person 5 minutes later.
Yeah, I see. You just reminded me. I did have a friend in elementary school where like he was the one who had the black box first, and see we'd go to his house, and I remember watching whichever the weird WrestleMania 9, I think it was the one that was outdoors at the friggin' Caesar's Palace. I believe that was 9. I remember
Yes, it was 9.
It was 9. I remember watching that one at his place, and I was like, oh wow, like they got the guy from WCW, JR, but he's in a toga.
Right? This narcissist. He seems familiar.
Yeah.
He used to just wrestle in black tights, right?
He used to wrestle in black tights and just flex his muscles. Now he just flexes his muscles and he has a metal piece in his arm.
And he has a mirror now.
And thank you, Irv Danny Putampa on our Facebook comments mentioned the Monday Night Wars. That was the thing where you had two competing shows. WWF had their Monday Night Raw. And WCW decided, we need to put up a show up against it. And so it was funny because I remember both shows started off as just being an hour. And then by the end of the Attitude Era, it was like
3 hours.
Yeah, it was like Raw was 2 hours. Nitro was 3 hours. Yeah, and I remember being very thankful that the TNT feed that I had was on East Coast time. So I could watch WCW from 5 to 8, and then I have that hour break, and then from 9 to 11 I watch WWF Raw. I was like, I'm consuming 5 hours of wrestling every Monday. And then the next day going to high school, like, hey guys, did you watch what happened to Raw? Oh my God, Stone Cold Steve Austin totally stunned Vince McMahon. That's insane. He gave him the finger. He gave him the finger. That's how sheltered we were back in the 90s. That was a big deal. Now I can just be like, finger. Oh.
But then again, you have to consider there's like the increase in violence, yet you go back to the old school wrestlers like Ming and all these tough guys who would basically lose matches to normal suplexes.
Yeah, there was I guess you could say there was an escalation in offense. You can say, another piece of that Attitude Era was the ECW. That I remember all my friends. We heard about it. Like, if you turn your TV to the correct channel on Saturday night, locally there was a station in LA that actually played it, but it was like.
It would go on and off in a weird scheduling.
I remember using my VCR, hooking up the antenna, and like finding. I remember I watched like 20 minutes of ECW hardcore TV. I'm like, I'm watching it. I can see ECW again. This is before the internet.
Before the internet.
For any of you who are like wondering why didn't you just YouTube it? Like, no, you couldn't do it back then. The internet was still in its like infancy. You had to pay by the minute back then.
Yes. This is going back to the days where people traded VHS tapes.
Oh, yeah.
I remember my one friend who had the internet, he would spoil wrestling for us all the time because he had access to the dirt sheet, like the early dirt sheets, whatever, I forget, like Alta Vista or whatever. Like, there'd be some sort of like message board where people were like, because WWF used to tape, because when they only had an hour show, they'd tape 2 hours worth.
Go live the next week.
They go live for the first hour and then tape the next hour. And then like my friend would show up to school like, next week Stone Cold shows up in a suit and he's gonna take off the suit and he's gonna like Stone, and he's gonna like stun Vince McMahon. I'm like, how do you know it's gonna? Me, naive, like freshman me, is like, how do you know this is gonna happen? And then the following Monday, out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin in a suit, kicks freaking Vince McMahon in the balls, and gives him the finger, and I was like, Ryan knew. I had no idea. I was so dumb. I was like,
and after a while, you have WCW exploit this.
Yes, yeah, that was a big thing that happened in that era.
Of course, it led them to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they like WCW would try to give away the results because everything was taped, and they give away the results. And there was one night where it actually backfired on them, where like everyone changed, like WCW gave out a result, and then everyone changed the channel. Like, what?
Yeah.
Mick Foley's gonna win the belt? 500,000 people changed the channel.
That was the funniest thing, and that was ultimately like one of the nails in the coffin of WCW.
Yeah.
Was when they said, "Hey, you don't need to go over there. Mick Foley's gonna win the channel." Everybody wanted to see that.
I was so sad.
To quote Tony Schiavone, that will put butts in seats.
That'll put butts in seats.
Yeah.
I'm so sad because that was like late '98, I think, or I didn't have cable at the time, so I didn't see a lot of that cool stuff that happened. It wasn't until recently where I went back and watched it on the network where I could see it. I was like, oh, damn it.
Now I have a question about the network. Do they have some of the old independent regional groups? Like I remember back in the day, like the old Texas ones. You had the Von Erichs down there. And
that's World Class Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
They have that on there. They have Mid South. That's where you can see that's where the $1 Million Man came from.
Yeah.
That's where Junkyard Dog.
You got Mid Atlantic, I believe.
There's some Mid-Atlantic stuff. That's like the OG that's where Ric Flair was before, and Roddy Piper was before Vince McMahon kind of like bought everything up and created the WWF of 1985. Everything used to be all separated. But yeah, thank you.
Got it.
That kind of leads me to like the wrestling of today. Honestly, I'm still a fan. I'll still watch it just in case something awesome happens, but it's not as amusing.
It totally is not.
And I also kind of attribute it to the fact that I've become that kind of that smart wrestling fan where like I check the internet all the time to kind of like stay up to date of all what's happening behind the scenes. I want to know what's going on, and I admit I feel like that kind of spoils it for me because my roommate I got him back into wrestling.
Yeah.
Last week's guest, Trent Trail, and he is blissfully unaware of a lot of the stuff. So I feel he enjoys it on a different level than I do, where like he doesn't know, like me, like Iceberg, you and me, we're like when we're watching in a big group, when people come over to my house, like it's either you or me calling out, oh, this is what's gonna happen at the end of the match. Like we're watching a match happen live, and because we've watched wrestling for so long,
we call the spots right on.
we know we kind of have an idea, like it's kind of like watching a dance. You know what the next steps are gonna be.
Yeah.
And so either Kiet or I will be like, friggin' her and run off the top rope, that's going to be the finish. And then everyone else in the room will be like, what? And then it'll happen. And they're like, what? How did you know? It's just like...
It's like, for example, the Royal Rumble match with Rich Swann and Neville. Mm-hmm. It's like, I already saw the front drop kick. It's like, okay, Neville's going to go to the top rope, and he's going to get his head kicked off. It's like, this is like 2 minutes set up beforehand. It's like, just what?
And then it happens.
Wait for it. There it is.
Yeah, and I feel that kind of ruined. Yeah, like I said, like for a person like me, or I'm sure it's the same thing for you, Kiet, where like we follow it so closely that like it's hard for us to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Where like a more casual fan can like sit back and watch, oh, Roman Reigns, hooray! Where like the rest of us like, fuck that guy.
However, there are times that it will work into our detriment.
Yes, that is true, and then that's one of the reasons why like Kiet and I are fans like us. We'll still watch because sometimes we think something's going to happen, and then they will swerve us. They will use our own cynicism or intelligence against us,
right.
And it's like,
Example,
oh shit!
When Seth Rollins cashed in his money in the bank at WrestleMania.
A couple of WrestleManias ago, like oh my god, we all lost our shit. Like we did not. It was a match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. It was the appointed, the
appointed golden boy.
The golden boy, because that's what in modern wrestling nowadays it's kind of decide. Oh, this person is going to be. They try to determine who's going to be the most popular. Like they don't let the crowd decide. We're like, because Stone Cold Steve Austin, he wasn't supposed to be the biggest wrestler guy. He wasn't supposed to be the big star. He was supposed to be there to kind of help people look good because he was a good wrestler. He could wrestle well, but his personality, he created the Stone Cold character.
And it all happened because Triple H fucked up.
And it's funny, like,
yeah.
everything is so serendipitous in this business. Like someone else's error could lead to something huge happening, or someone else's mistake. You're I guess just like any aspect of life, like a simple thing can just all of a sudden ruin everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
it's like
it can create a situation where like, oh, everything turns up awesome. Like one wrestler messed up. If that wrestler hadn't messed up, we might not have had Stone Cold Steve Austin. We
Right.
might not have
We
had
didn't
the
have-
Attitude Era.
You would not have it because the night that Stone Cold became Austin 316 was originally scheduled for Triple H to win that King of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, a different wrestler was
And
supposed to
he
win.
screwed himself
He's-
pretty hard.
Yeah, he screwed himself pretty hard. That's a longer story.
Himself really well.
He did unscrew himself well, and now he's
By screwing
by screwing the boss's daughter.
Well done.
Magic.
Yeah. So for our viewers or listeners that are not wrestling fans, what would you explain to them as the appeal of it all? If it is all already predetermined, and what is the appeal? Because for me, I can tell you right now, for me, it's the athleticism and
Yes.
the choreography. It's a dance.
You're leading me to my next topic right here. You don't even know it, and you're leading me to my next topic right here.
That's a brilliant segue.
See, boom, brilliant segue. Like I feel nowadays, there's like, because the WWE is kind of like the I like to, it's the lowest common denominator. It's PG friendly. It's the Walmart of wrestling, so to speak. It's easily consumed. It's everywhere. It's easy to get.
It's your Coke.
It's your Coke. It's your Coke. Not a sponsor. But
Wish
there,
it was.
but there's all sorts of other, like there's lots of other wrestling out there, like the stuff that I actually legitimately enjoy. Like there's a local group here in California called PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And that's literally an organization run by wrestlers. So like a bunch of wrestlers decide, hey, why don't we just do our own thing? There's like really no real storylines. They show up and they put together the most ridiculous shows. Like I was showing excessively long executive producer Sam Zia a bunch of clips because they'll throw up YouTube clips of their shows, and you just see they do the craziest shit like that their bosses, if they were at another company, would not allow them to do. They have kind of like pro wrestling quote unquote purists think it's ridiculous because it's just breakneck, insane, fast paced insanity. It's just the most ridiculous things you've ever seen, but
like
it's fun.
An entire match of what would be considered finishing moves.
Yeah, an entire match of finishing moves, or it'd be like it's like a video. It's like watching a video game, but in real life, like video game wrestling, but in real life. And actually, and Harold Hall on Facebook Live, I was just about to get to that. Something that just got put on Netflix, which I actually would recommend for everyone,
Yes.
is a show called Lucha Underground.
Yes.
And that show, that's an amazing show because they approach it very differently. It is not a show about wrestling. It's literally, I like to say it's like a wrestling graphic novel. It's a little bit dramatized. They have amazing matches, but they work so much on production value. Like one of the guys behind it, Robert Rodriguez, like Desperado,
Right.
freaking El Mariachi, those like he kind of put his like little twist on it.
It's more
Like,
story driven.
it's very story driven. And the production value is insane. Like all the backstage scenes, they look like you're watching a movie or a high quality TV show.
That's what, when you had told me about it, I watched that first episode, and it's like it looks like a Robert Rodriguez movie.
It does.
But it also feels like when you're watching it, you feel like you're watching an indie league wrestling.
It's an independent league. It's independent, but it's very entertaining. There's a more emphasis on the entertainment, and it's fun to watch.
See, I like the indie league stuff. I love the independent stuff specifically because it feels more like it's playing to what the crowd actually wants to
exactly. Where like the WWE product is very much like, this is what we think you're gonna like.
Yeah.
Where these guys are like, this is what you want. We're gonna give you kind of what you want, and this is fun. And the third one I want to mention, because this is more for like the people who are kind of into wrestling. Like, let's say you fell out of wrestling and you're looking for something. New Japan Pro Wrestling is this Japanese organization.
Wow, and they dug themselves out of the hole.
Yeah, they were like a few years ago. They're in big financial trouble, but for the last like 3-4 years, they've put together some of the most amazing stuff. They actually have a service that I've subscribed to. It's very similar to the WWE network, but
And it's cheaper.
and it's technically cheaper. It's 999 yen, which is like which I happily give to them. It is great. It's this hard hitting action. There is so little honestly, there's so little bullshit. There's like little annoying things, but it's great because they bring all these American wrestlers, and they're all just one stable of they're kind of like, it's a throwback to kind of like the NWO or the the clique of the old days, and actually they do a lot of the things like they dress all black and white. It's called the Bullet Club, and then there's all these awesome. There's this one guy. He's like my favorite Japanese wrestler. He's like currently, in my opinion, he's kind of like the Japanese version of The Rock. It's this dude, Kazuchika Okada. He's called the Rainmaker, and whenever he wins a huge title match, they literally rain this like money with his face on it.
Wow.
They just drop it on the crowd, and it's freaking. And the cool.
They got JR doing commentary.
They look, if you find the American, because there's an American show where they have translated where they have JR and this other great guy Josh Barnett. If you have Access TV,
yeah.
If you have Access TV on Friday nights, they show older matches, which is kind of cool because you get to watch them with English commentary, and then they put subtitles on all their promos. Watching it on this New Japan World, this streaming service, unfortunately, most of the time they don't have subtitles. They actually do have I think they're trying to be more like WWE. They have all these little featurettes where they actually do interviews with the wrestlers, and they do translate the Japanese wrestlers, and the American wrestlers also do interviews. And they look like, and the cool thing about that show is like they look like they're genuinely having fun. Like they are having a great time, and like it's funny because one of my other favorite wrestlers, this guy, like when I first started watching it, like my last ex-girlfriend, other than her being crazy, the one thing that she gave to me was this it was because of her I started watching this New Japan Pro Wrestling. And there was this one wrestler, this guy Tetsuya Naito. He was kind of trying to be the good guy, like he's the equivalent of what's going on with Roman Reigns. They were trying to show him he's a good guy, and people were kind of like. They're
Irritated to Tanahashi.
Oh no, and there was just apathy to this guy. Like he tried to do things to try to like wow the crowd. He had all these amazing moves. He's called the Stardust Press, where he just this crazy flips through the sky. He had amazing moves, but there was just a general apathy towards him. And then the company and him, they kind of reacted appropriately. Like, okay, fine. He goes off to Mexico. He joins like an evil group over there, and he brings it back with him to Japan. Nice. And it's. What he does is it's so awesome. Like he gives no fucks. Yeah. Like he literally like while everyone else kind of like marches to the ring, it's like he shows up to the ring in a suit, and then he doesn't walk down. He kind of just stands there, like looks around, and he's being a dick the whole time. Like he's holding everything up. Like he gets in the ring and he just takes his time. And it's this weird like where like the fans are like, what is going on with him? Like he'd come wearing like this crazy mask and he'd take it off, and like in the middle of the match, like he'd just like roll out of the ring and just like. I don't give a damn about you. And like he'd sneak in and like drop kick the dude in the back of the head. Yeah. Or like he'll make it look like he's about to jump out of the ring, and then he'll flip backwards and he'll just lie on the ring like he's relaxing. And then over the course of like a year and a half, this dude became like the most popular wrestler in Japan because all of a sudden everyone's like, we like the fact that you don't give a fuck. Like apparently like he's always calling out the Japanese president and everything. It was nuts.
Wow.
And then he sells the most merchandise, like Los Ingobernables de Japón. And another thing I loved about him, he started doing all of his promos instead of in Japanese, he was starting to do them in Spanish. Yes. And I was like, this guy is insane. I love him. It's freaking great. But like those are great alternatives. Like if you want to watch wrestling and you don't want to watch WWE, Lucha Underground, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, you can find their DVDs at pwg.com, and then you also have New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can find them at newjapanworld.com. Free plugs. Or you can use, of course you can YouTube all this stuff. But I'm always that weird person. I like to support the original product.
Exactly.
It's like Team 4-Star.
There are these moments where you just don't see on a regular basis, and you just have these comedy matches where you have Kenny Omega and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're great.
Because
these guys
I
are
am
nuts.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Yeah, you'll learn about all these different independent wrestlers, and they're a lot of fun. So let me transition to a segment that we're now producing every week called This Week in Uber. So for those who don't know, I am to help pay the bills. One of my many jobs is I'm an Uber driver, and now I feel like every week I should document something ridiculous that happens to me.
There you go.
And thankfully, last Wednesday, something ridiculous did happen to me. I was in the city of Alhambra, and I was picking up someone from, I guess there was like this little veterans, whatever, those little armories.
Yeah.
One like where veterans get together and get shit-faced.
Yeah.
And so I pick up...
That sounds dangerous.
Apparently,
Especially at an armory.
Like some little armory or whatever,
Legion?
Legion, American Legion, the Veterans Legion, whatever. I picked up this dude and his girlfriend, and this dude, like, immediately in the back, he starts talking about, oh man, baseball is the best. I fucking love baseball. And I could smell his breath. I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be a fun one. I'm like, I got to take him all the way to Duarte. I had 25 minutes of this guy. And so he's in the back, and he's asking, oh, I like baseball. I wish I was more into baseball. I wasn't talking to you. I'm like,
Whoa.
Who were you talking to? Were you just, and then his girlfriend's like asleep. Like she got in the car and just passed out. I'm like, okay. And he just starts talking. Literally talking to hear himself speak. He was just like going on. And the thing he kept doing that was just tripping me out, he's like, he would talk about something and then like, that's what you call insert what I just talked about. And blah, 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 you know, bacon, blah, 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 blah. And that's what you call fat. Like he would sequentially he kept doing that.
Yeah.
And like she's kind of like in and out of sleep. He keeps talking to her and I'm like, you're not talking to me, bro. I'm like, you're out of your mind. And I'm going a little bit faster.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm doing about 55, 60 on Las Tunas Boulevard because I want to get because he just goes on and on. He wouldn't stop for like 15 minutes.
Oh,
he was like going on and all of a sudden, hey, Uber driver. Yes. No, it's funny. No, I think there was something he said and he goes, hey. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, can we stop at the 7-Eleven? Sure, I guess. I try to be very nice to my Uber rides. If someone asks,
hoping you're not the getaway ride.
Yeah, hoping I'm not the getaway ride, right? And we've seen that commercial on the internet where they're doing that, and it was nuts. I was like, Uber driver, you want anything? I'm like, I'm good. Please hurry. I want to get rid of you. And he just kept going. And then when he got back in the car, he got in the car and sat next to me, and he talked to me for the rest of the ride. I'm like, no, don't sit next to me. Oh no! And then he was just talking about life. He's like, you know, man, you're on that hustle, aren't you, bro? You're on that hustle. I'm like, yeah, I'm on that hustle. I got to do this to pay the bills. He's like, yeah, man, we all got to do what we got to do, you know, right? You know, bro. You know, I'm like.
Was he trying to solicit you for like sexual pleasure?
Right?
I don't know. Honestly. I'm pretty oblivious, so maybe he was. I mean, I have messed up and missed out on opportunities where women were floating with me on Ubers so far, like at least 2-3 times so far.
Right, girlfriend sleeping in the back. He came right out in front,
and
talking about life.
And I'm like, I need to get you out of my car. And like I get to the point, he just wouldn't stop talking. I'm like, we're here, dude. You know, like I already have another ride queued up right here. I have to go. You need to go. Get out of my car. You need to leave. Like, as soon as I got my car, I immediately went to my phone. I have This Week in Uber for next Monday's show. So yeah, that's This Week in Uber. So
5-star rating.
5-star rating. So I want to take a couple minutes. We want to talk to our buddy Kiet about. Tell us about Streetpass OC a little bit. Now tell us, kind of give us the. As much as I hate this phrase, give us the elevator pitch of what Streetpass OC is.
Right, we're just a bunch of really gamers focused originally on the 3DS. We spent 6 years doing this.
It'll be 6 years this month.
Yeah, it would be 6 years next week.
Is it next week? Well, no.
March 27th.
Oh, for the Nintendo drinking game, I'm about to. Yeah, I should know this because I worked for Nintendo.
Yes.
Have a drink, everyone.
So it's just basically a grassroots organization. We throw events. We used to throw events monthly, but it's been, life gets in the way. So
right, you guys everybody, all three of you guys get full-time jobs, and now it's hard to have these.
It's hard to have these things. So just hung out, found places, game. We did this out of our own pocket, never asked. For
right,
money.
there was like Mario Kart tournaments, Super Smash Bros. Tournaments. I recall.
Right,
there was always
game tournaments because I like to have fun.
Yeah, there was all kinds of all kinds of fun stuff where you guys would hold tournaments, and now I feel with this new Nintendo console, will we see? I mean, not a monthly event, but are we going to start seeing maybe a quarterly event, maybe a
That's the plan. We have a certain game coming out in April.
Mario Kart 8.
Yes, Mario Kart 8
Deluxe. Yes. Sorry, Matt, Noah, and whomever else from Nintendo I just insulted by not knowing the correct name of the game. Drink.
Okay. So we have that. So knowing my crazy warped ass mind,
you're gonna put some stipulations in the tournament to make it more interesting, and so
of course I'm gonna have the detractors who will say these rules are stupid.
It's just people who want to win, and
not naming any names.
We're not gonna name names.
No grudges.
But bum. Damn it! I keep doing bum. No, but inherently these events are supposed to be fun. I mean,
always made for
good,
fun.
Hold them in the comic shops. That one awesome store, like Geeky Mom. I remember you guys holding the Geeky Mamas.
Various GameStops, parks.
Literally, I remember a couple of times was it downtown
Disney.
Downtown
That was
Disney.
fun because we used to have a group of I would say 20 people. Then all of a sudden it avalanched to 50, 60, 70. And
It just kept growing. That was impressive.
Less conspicuous when you're in downtown Disney and you have a mass of people 50 wide. So
Right. It was a little tough to do that. So, but yeah.
Low key event. Nope.
No, there were no more low key events.
Yep.
But you guys, for anyone who's going.
We looked at each other. I was tired of being one to yell bumps. I was like, dude,
I bring this upon myself.
It's funny.
So,
we couldn't decide who. To
to quote Zoidberg, why not both? Why not both? There's going to be for those of us who are comic book fans. There's WonderCon is coming up, and
WonderCon is coming up. So for the second time, we are holding a Streetpass panel at WonderCon, and
Nice.
For those who don't know, WonderCon is it's a very much like San Diego Comic Con, but on a lesser scale, and held here in the lovely Anaheim Convention
you can
Center.
actually walk.
Yeah.
You can actually walk around.
You can get tickets.
Yeah, and you can kind of get tickets. Even though I'm sure they're selling
I think
pretty
right now.
briskly still.
I think they have single day passes, but I think
The weekend passes are gone. But so Kiet and his two, but the other two admins, Adam and Ryan, they're going to be having a panel where they're going to be talking about the Nintendo community group, how people can create their Nintendo community groups, and they
have stories coming from last week.
Yep, and they've made the brave choice of for the second time having me be their moderator, where
Why did we not learn from the first time? I don't know.
I think there's video of it somewhere.
I'm about to ask you because I've been curious. I've been wanting to see this video.
My buddy Sean Hornbuckle probably has it on. I don't know if he has it on his current cell phone or another phone. He has video. I feel like that was a fun time, and I believe after all my experience of doing this show, I think I'm going to be at least 10 times better. I'm going to go full Vegeta on this shit. This is not no ordinary moderator you're dealing with.
Yes,
you are going to be dealing with a super moderator.
Super moderator Blue.
So yeah, that's going to be fun. I will probably, since you're asking about video, I will most likely broadcast my moderation.
I'm calling you Super Commie Moderator now.
And this is going to be the last panel of the day, so it's
I know.
Friday night,
Again?
7:30. It was Friday night, 7.
7:30.
They pushed us back.
They push us back. Community groups. So it's going to be fun. I will be broadcasting from WonderCon. I'll probably be broadcasting during the actual show. I don't know how much walking around I shoot. I remember last time we did this, I walked around for a couple hours and I was exhausted walking into the panel. I'm like, oh God, I'm too old for this shit. What's wrong with me? I'm old and I'm fatter now than I was than 2 years ago. So this is going to be a huge problem unless I lose some weight in a week. Bring me the hot dogs. I think I should just show up for the panel. That way I'm not up there going, welcome to Street Passing.
And this time we remembered to put our own name, so...
Yes, no, I was very happy to see that. Because last time it was only my name on the program. This time, all three of the admins of Streetpass OC are in the program.
We'll now have our own
You guys will have your little names. Actually, I still have mine on my desk because I am who I am.
And I am going to be proudly
Displaying
enjoying
yours.
the fact that I'm probably going to be torturing mines.
Good. So,
I do a bunch of crazy shit.
he likes the because there's a lot of people who show up and they like to be difficult. So he likes to be difficult back to the people who because they have competitions, they have raffles. I remember I used to donate all sorts of stuff from Nintendo, and then when I was working for Disney, drink twice. I used to donate stuff to them, and so they have some cool stuff in the raffles. And when you put out free stuff, people can be really shitty.
Yeah.
In Mario Kart, I'm sure as a comic shop proprietor, you have a raffle of some sort. People can be shitty with like that as well. So it can be,
I have fun because we sometimes bring in the ultra competitive. Ooh, we are part of the community because we are very, very strict in the rules, and I am a professional gamer.
Right.
And it's like, and then
I hate those people too, and guess what? I am
And then-
going to throw wrenches deliberately at them.
because then you have little kids who want to play Mario Kart. They just want to play and have fun, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Some
people
people-
don't like getting squished within the next 5 minutes, so
It's
I
kind
like
of
to
ri-
throw in.
He likes to make
random shit.
he likes to make things like because the modern Mario Karts you can have a lot of customization and you can make things a little bit more difficult.
And some people just don't like this.
It is what it is. Sometimes when you're dealing with the hardcore gamer, as I've railed against before on this show, they can be very difficult. So
We came from all the way from Salinas to come down here and be part of this event, and you give us these shitty rules.
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Enjoy.
Enjoy the difficulty. So yeah, be on the lookout. Facebook.com/Streetpass OC. So actually, that can be your plug. Instead of plugging your Twitter, we'll plug Streetpass OC. So Kiet Pham, you can follow him. Adam Scher and Ryan Van Loo, they run the community group Streetpass OC, Facebook.com/Streetpass OC. As far as this show goes, you can always follow us. If you're listening to this audio when I finally post this on iTunes at some point in the near future, you can find the show Facebook.com/Dre GP Podcast. Our Twitter handle is the same thing, at Dre GP Podcast. On Twitch, if you want to watch us in full panoramic view where you can see the guests and not just my mug, twitch.tv/Dre GP Podcast. If you want to follow the crazy person jumping behind me, you can follow at SamZia570
At Sam Z.
at SamZ570. If you want to buy comic books from my cohort here, the judgmental nerd, Pete Molini, at Nostalgic
_comics.
at Nostalgic_comics.
And he might judge you a little bit.
If you want to follow, and he will judge you because he's a judgmental nerd. If you want to follow my artwork, it's at SoCalClone on the Instagrams. For my guest Kiet Pham, for excessively long executive producer Sam Zia, for judgmental nerd Pete Molini, I am Dre Cervantes. Thank you for watching. I love you. Share this video if you're watching on Facebook. Share this with everyone you love. I want more strangers to watch this and tell me how much I suck. Thank you and good night.